Welcome to Thriver TV, the place to break free with true solutions to heal for real from narcissistic abuse and painful relationship patterns. More than just information to survive, you are granted the tools to thrive. Before I get into today's video, I just want to mention my Breakthrough Healing Workshop, which I'll be doing 2 sessions on the 19th and the 20th of December. This is one of my most powerful events where you get to spend an entire day with me learning about the Thriver way to heal the trauma, heal your gaps, and become narcissist free. If you're still struggling with the pain and trauma, I can't recommend this event enough. It's going to be a great way to put an end to what's been such a difficult year. So click the link that appears now or go to melanietoniaevans.com/digital pass. Okay, so today we're going to cover the following subtopics on this topic of sex and control with the narcissist. So we're going to be looking at how narcissists hide behind sex to avoid intimacy, how they use sex to control people, the darkest side of narcissistic sex, which a lot of people don't want to talk about it, but we're going to today, and how instead you can align with sexual relationships that are holistic, safe, and life affirming. All right, so let's get into that discussion now. Okay, so starting off with, how do narcissists use sex to avoid intimacy? Narcissists are incredibly emotionally shallow, and they have a very poor ability to genuinely, intimately connect. In fact, they can't do it genuinely, they can only pretend to do it. And for many people, sexual connection feels like the epitome of intimacy and love. And a narcissist can fake intimacy and love through sexual connection, can hook people into that. And they hide behind sex. So a narcissist can really say or act out that they've got this incredible sexual ability and they can grant you sexual attention. And really what it's doing is they're disguising the true emotional inadequacies that they have. So they're not going to show up as a real, loving, feeling human being who has a soul, being able to have a truly intimate and honest relationship. And there's an old saying which I love, and it is to get truly naked with somebody, to get truly naked is the greatest intimacy, because it means into me see. And that is not the same as taking off your clothes and rubbing genitals together. It really isn't. A narcissist is going to avoid true intimacy at all costs, because there's actually no true self for you to see. And what there is in there is a crumpled up, disowned inner being that the narcissist has deemed irrelevant and not wanted. So their inner self is deeply insecure and deeply damaged. They never want you to see that, because their entire life and the production of their life is a script. It's not real. And of course, heaven help you if you mess up that script, which is what narcissistic rage and abandonment and all the things that they do is all about. And you know that, you've experienced that. But let's get back to sex now that we've established that a narcissist is going to hide behind it so you don't really see who's in there. So how does the narcissist use sex to control people? The narcissist, exactly the same as they've disowned their own inner being and true self, they're not interested in your true self. They're not interested in what your heart and your soul is about. They may pretend at the start to really be interested in that, to hook you in, but they're not. So really, you are an object to manipulate, coerce, and get narcissistic supply and resources from, which means the stuff that's going to feed their ego and their significance and their false identity. And sex is a very powerful way that a narcissist can do this. A narcissist wants to be in control of your thoughts and your actions. And they want to be the center of your universe so that you keep, for good or bad, so that you keep granting them the attention and the resources and the stuff that can feed their insatiable inner self and their desperate need for significance. Or, and this is what narcissists do, if you're not effectively doing that enough, then they're going to punish you and dump their tormented inner self on you and blame you for not handing over enough attention, significance, acclaim or stuff. And sex is a very, very, very effective way for them to regulate narcissistic supply and punishment, which means controlling you. So a more overtly sexual narcissist will demand sex constantly. And they may threaten you with abandonment or replacement if you're not handing it over. And you're going to feel like an object. And you'll feel like the sex, no matter how well it's wrapped up and presented, you're going to feel like it's detached and unemotional, and that the narcissist is more interested in your body parts than you. He or she may make name references to your body parts or grab them, and they may position the relationship all around sex. And you'll work it out, because in your being you're going to start feeling like the narcissist actually isn't interested in you and interested in things in your life that are important to you. And this type of narcissistic person is probably a sex addict. Their narcissistic supply's got a lot to do with sex. And it's also very likely that they're interested in things like porn or sexual practices and attention outside of the relationship, as many narcissists are. And there's a lot of awful stuff that goes with that, because a lot of narcissists aren't fussy, they don't respect other people's bodies or health or their own, as a lot of people, very sadly and devastatingly found out through STDs and other things. So this type of narcissist, they may be hiding their true crumpled up self that's on the inside behind how wonderful a lover they are, about grandstanding, their sexuality to you, and you're kind of the object that they're masturbating with, and that's kind of what it feels like. Or the narcissist may, if you've got the greater sexual appetite, withhold sex from you to punish you and control you that way, and demean you and reduce your self-esteem. So, your self-esteem, either way, with the overtly sexual narcissist or the narcissist that's withholding, you're going to feel that your self-esteem is getting trashed, because you either feel like you're objectified and dehumanized, or you feel like that you're not attractive and good enough to make love to. And you could have the insecurity about, that you're going to be replaced, or the narcissist is going to go elsewhere, or is going elsewhere, or whatever it is. So often it could either way. And the thing is, a narcissist can swing. They can be one or the other, because they act out and they do what hurts people. The one thing about a narcissist sexually in your life that you will discover is whatever your unhealed stuff is. I'm not good enough, and I don't get connection, and I've been really starved of love and affection. You'll have a narcissist withhold. If you feel like you've been violated and you've been abused in your life, and that you've had your boundaries smashed, well, then the narcissist is not going to leave you alone in that way. They will switch and change depending on the person who's in their life. Because remember, there's no real person in there. They're acting out and playing out narcissistic supply and punishment. And sex is one of the top ways that they do that. And often, either way, with the withholding narcissist or the overtly sex addict narcissist, it can be devastating to discover that there are other people outside of the relationship. And the narcissist may even be triangulating you with them, keeping you both apart, keeping you both thinking that the narcissist can't stand either of you, and they're actually using you and making sure you don't get together and share notes on it. That happens so commonly. All right, so let's have it as if it's not bad enough, and it is bad enough, but there's an even darker side that can go with narcissistic sex. And this is where a narcissist can use sex for sadomasochistic purposes to really hurt people. So if a narcissist is harboring a ton of internal rage and unhealed wounds, which a lot of them are, then it can come out in nasty sex. So this could be things like revenge sex, where they're going to run off with a prostitute or your best friend or do something horrible, or threatening you with abandonment and replacement if you don't perform certain acts or allow them to indulge in their sadistic pleasures and appetites. So it could be things like threesomes or swinging, or maybe they'll sell polygamy to you, you know, in a way that is really unwholesome, and tell you that they're going to leave you or threaten you with something else if you don't indulge in what they want you to do. And you know, often in these sorts of cases, the partner may feel so broken down and insecure and so traumatized that they feel like they don't have a choice and sell their soul even more to the devil. It's really heartbreaking. And in the 10 plus years that I've been in this community, I've heard the recounts from thrivers who are now healing, thank goodness, and coming out of this, how horrific their sexual relationships have been on this level. It's been disturbing and heartbreaking. Okay, so that's as bad as it gets, and as bad as we're going to talk about it, and it could be worse, and it is worse at times, but that's enough. Okay, so let's have a look at, let's do the transformation of this, which is how to align with sexual relationships that are holistic, safe, and life-affirming. Okay, so absolutely, after being through all of this stuff, there's a process to heal yourself, and I cannot recommend enough, you know, having a look at the deeper healing resources and the support that we have in this Thriver community to get you up and out of that trauma and into your body in healthy, respectful, beautiful, sacred ways. All right. It's so important, and I would really say to you, have a relationship fast before you go down the track, and healing before you go down the track again of sexual relationships. But when you get there, you know, it's so important to treat your body as a sacred temple, which means get to know people and their character. Because I really do believe, from a spiritual point of view, that we take on the energy of other people powerfully after having sex with them. Like, it really is a connection of bodies, and there's an alchemy there that can be beautiful and healthy and bring us closer to creation and love, or it can really spiral us down into a place of power and ego destruction and, you know, being parasitically fed on and pulled to pieces. And, you know, it's not about being a sexual prude. That's not what this conversation is about. This is about taking your soul and your life force back. And sex has a lot to do with that, especially after being narcissistically abused. So my really big recommendation to you is get to know somebody's character before you go gambling your body and your soul. It's so important. And the thing is, really good people, beautiful people, they would expect that. They really don't want to just jump into bed with people and really pull down the whole soul sacredness into something that's just lower chakra vibrational acts. As people who've been narcissistically abused, we want the good stuff. We want to get to a sexual union which is goodly and godly and life-affirming and brings us closer to creation and source and joy and beauty. Because that's real love making. And that's not what it is with a narcissist. No matter how great you think the sex is, a lot of it is because it's chemical obsession, and it's also to do with addiction and relief, which is destroying your soul. It's not actually complementing it at all. So I really want to recommend to all of you that have suffered the dehumanization, the objectification, the manipulation, the triangulation, and the devastation with sexual abuse, that there is a necessity for deep retrieval and healing to do with your inner being, with your soul, so that you can have healthy, wholesome relationships in the future. And I cannot recommend my narcissistic abuse recovery program enough for that, because what it does, it's able to reach those deep traumas that have permeated your being through sexual abuse, because that's what it is. And you're able to load them up and release them and bring in the source energy and the reprogramming that resets you back truly to your innocence, your joy, and the appreciation of your body and life and sex in a healthy, wholesome way. And when you get there, then there is that ability to not only attract in people with capacity for healthy, wholesome, loving, true intimacy and sex, but you also have the ability yourself to be in it, grow with it, and co-generate it. So I really want you to check out NARP for that. It's helped so many people in this area as well as myself. So you can check out what NARP has in it by clicking the link at the top right of this video. And I'm really looking forward to this conversation. They're always really big. Everything I do on social media about sex, a lot of you really relate, because it's such an area where narcissists infiltrate. It's really big. And this is a part of our life that we should all be able to celebrate and appreciate and really be in healthy, safe, beautiful ways. All right, I hope this has helped. So until the next one, keep smiling, keep healing, keep thriving, and know that you really can heal this stuff. So looking forward to our conversations on this topic. All right, lots of love. Bye-bye.